Good morning, everyone. This is Mackenzie Sykes with the ASRS. Thank you for joining us. We are nearing the scheduled start time of the Operations Audit and Legislative Committee meeting. Please be patient while we confirm that our virtual participants are online. Thank you. Chairperson Weber, the time is 9:34. We are ready for you to start when you are ready. Once you have called the meeting to order and the official roll call has been taken, I would like to take a moment and review the meeting guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie, and good morning, everyone. I would like to officially call the Operations Legislative Audit and Legislative Committee to order today on January 29th at 9:35. So welcome and thank you, everyone. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person. I recently relocated up to Prescott Valley, which is a beautiful part of our state. So I'm not down in Phoenix quite as much. And I will tell you, it is very we had a snow day today, so it is a whole different winter wonderland up here down in Phoenix. So apologies. I know sometimes that makes running a meeting a little more complicated, especially when the person chairing the meeting is remote. So especially to my fellow committee member, I appreciate your patience. So with that, Mackenzie, if you want to go ahead and call the roll, that'd be great.
Will the following individuals please confirm you are present at the meeting by stating here as I call your name? Sarah Weber.
Here.
Michael Miller.
Here.
Chairperson Weber, a quorum is present. I would now like to read the guidelines and reminders. This meeting is currently being live streamed to the public and recorded. All speakers, please remember to identify yourself before speaking. Unless you are speaking, all mics should be muted to eliminate background noise. All cell phones should be set to silent. Once motions are made, I will take the vote by roll call. Once complete, the chairperson will announce whether the motion has passed. This will ensure it is clear to the public how each trustee voted and that the minutes are documented accurately. All presenters, please refer to the page numbers of the packet found in the upper right-hand corner of each page as you move through your presentation so that attendees can follow along. If any members of the public wish to speak, you will have the opportunity under the call to the public agenda item 4. At that time, the committee chairperson will ask if any members of the public have requested the opportunity to speak, and I'll read the names of each person who have indicated that they do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And with that, we can move right to our consent agenda. So any discussion, questions regarding the items that were listed on the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. I second the motion. Mackenzie, please call the vote.
Hearing a motion by Mr. Miller and a second by Ms. Weber, I will take the roll call vote for the motion to approve the consent agenda. Please answer aye or nay when I call your name. Ms. Weber.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Thank you, Chairperson Weber. The vote has been taken.
Thank you. And the vote has passed. Wonderful. All right. And that will take us right to our third agenda item. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, yep, that is the presentation, discussion, appropriate action regarding ASRS information security and privacy program. But given the nature of the discussion, this is one that we typically go into executive session for. So do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chairman, I move to go into executive session for agenda item number 3 pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A9 for the purpose of discussion of consultations with designated representatives to discuss security matters.
Thank you. And I'll second the motion. Mackenzie, if you could please call the vote.
Hearing a motion by Mr. Miller and a second by Ms. Weber, I will take a roll call vote for the motion to move into executive session as stated. Please answer aye or nay when I call your name. Ms. Weber.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Thank you, Chairperson Weber. The vote has been taken.
Thank you, and it has passed unanimously. So we will regroup in executive session. And I know there's probably another link now that I need to go find and join for that, correct?
Yes, it'll be on Google Meet. You'll find it in your email.
Okay, thank you. I'll see y'all soon.
The time is 9:39. We will now move into executive session. The time is now,
And made it everything.
the time is now 10:03. Chairperson Weber, we are ready for you to call the open session meeting back to order when you are ready. After you call the meeting to order, I would like to take a roll call to ensure we still have the quorum.
All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and call the meeting back to order. And if you could please go ahead and take the roll, Mackenzie.
For the record, will the following trustees please confirm you are in attendance to the meeting by stating here as I call your name? Ms. Weber,
I'm here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
roll call has been taken. Chairperson Weber, quorum is present.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. And we'll just move right along to the call to the public. Do we have anyone from the public online or in person that would like to address the committee?
No, we do not have anyone wishing to speak.
Okay, well, then that will take us to the presentation regarding the internal audit related topics. Mr. Harold Mackey.
Good morning, Chairman Weber and Trustee Miller. For the record, I'm Harold Mackey, Chief Internal Auditor for the Arkansas State Retirement System, and I'm here to brief you on our quarterly update and activities within the Internal Audit Division. Well, as a summary of what I want to convey with you this morning, on page 2 of our memo, I'll present the quarterly audit report, and then I will present one of our recently conducted audits / assessments that we have going on. So fairly short delivery that I have for you today, but hopefully it will convey some of the things that we've been doing within internal audit. So if we go to the internal audit report, please. And if we go to page 2 or 17, thank you. If in terms of administrative areas within the internal audit act area, we had one internal auditor who retired last quarter. And in doing so, we had put out a recruiting. We did the first time we tried a recruiting was in November. However, we did find an individual who subsequently withdrew in December. So we waited until after the holiday to restart our recruiting activities. We received a significantly large number of applicants. And so we have been going through that, and we have now pared that down to what we believe are going to be the top tier people to bring in and interview. So that is ongoing, and we hope to have that list to HR by the end of the week. Other activities that we're doing really is in our employer audits, and you'll see that we're working towards, in terms of internal audit activities, working in consultation with FESD and member services and benefits as we start up and start looking at our health insurance subsidies, so that we can try to take a look at that and see how we can work with them and help them find a better way of getting more realistic data, more accurate data, and more importantly, more timely data, so that they can ensure essentially overpayments aren't incurred, and that money is then have to be either refunded back to the employer, or the employer has a big deficit that they have to send to the internal into the ASRS. So those are the two big things that we're gearing up for. at this point in time. So that activity should be launched probably next week. In terms of our fraud hotline monitoring, again, we went through a transition in terms of how we operate within the with operations. Ryan, I can't think of his name, how to say that. Ryan. Yes.
Yeah.
He has taken over as the lead within operations. And with that information, we've been now targeting any fraud level operational activities towards him and his team so that they can work on those. And again, just keep that interaction going between us and operations so that members who are impacted within the fraud, within potential fraud activities are really have a timely interaction so that we can get back with them. In terms of our standards within internal audit, we are now operating under the new international standards. So those became effective January 25th, and we are proceeding within that consideration. Okay, so if we go to the next page, advisory and other matters. Not really much to add in this area than the kinds of things that we're doing and have been doing. So we will continue to pursue, continue to be on various teams within the agency, and as things go up, when necessary, provide our advisory kinds of basically speak up and speak out when necessary. Okay. And last on page 19, just a little brief on the kinds of things that we have been doing. So the first one, IMB settlement, that is actually complete now. When this was written, it had not necessarily been complete, but that's been up. I did mention about the health insurance. Over the past, we've had completed the Sunnyside. We're getting ready to gear up. This Friday, we'll start our conversations on the GASB 68 testing. We have a meeting with CLA on that, so we'll start that process. And for other areas, Santa Cruz on the in progress, Santa Cruz Valley, I believe that's wrapping up. I have put on at this point in time the AIBT nonprofit charters high school. Put that on hold for right now. We need to discuss some of the activities and how we really get information to ensure that we're providing the most efficient, appropriate, and accurate information about that particular employer audit. And then the other area that we're wrapping up on is the asset protections, basically our physical security kinds of assessment of what's going on there. And that should be wrapping up as well. Any questions on the activities of internal audit at this point in time?
I have a comment. I want to respond to Vice Chair Michael Miller's question again from a few sessions back about whether we have enough people to get everything that we're hoping to get done. At this point, I can now say definitely no. Having only 2 auditors plus Harold as our CIA is starting to become difficult to keep up and maintain the progress that we were used to having. So we absolutely need more assistance, more auditors at this point in time. So I just wanted to voice that because you had asked a while back about that. I wanted to give you that.
That in mind, just a quick question. I know you're in the process of trying to bring another person on board. Is there a projected timeline that may or may not happen?
Right now, we are wrapping up and we'll be getting with HR. So we're hoping to have at least all of those identified for coming in and doing interviews, probably starting next week, the end of next week. And then from there, depending on the quality of those candidates, we'll be extending an offer and hopefully as soon as possible thereafter, depending on their work or what they're doing at that point in time. So.
Okay, just out of curiosity, how big in a sense is the job pool of qualified auditors? I mean, I have no concept.
Well, from what we received, we had a large job pool. Not all of them, I would say, were quality. I would say probably about 50% down to between 50, maybe 40% were, I would say, qualified. And of those, probably around 20% would exceed the qualification, and those are the ones we'll be targeting first.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, obviously, that you had a candidate and that fell through. But, you know, I've seen, especially after the holidays, I think it was smart to wait that, you know, there's just the job pool. There's a lot more people that are looking for work. And with such a small team, but such a big impact to the agency, it's so important that you are hiring those quality applicants. So I really appreciate, I know that it is so hard when you have those vacancies, but the cost of hiring the wrong people and then having them, you know, leave, or you know, the cost of that is obviously much greater than you know, finding the right person for the job. So I appreciate your patience with this process, and look forward to hopefully meeting someone potentially at our next meeting.
That would be the plan.
Great.
All right. Any other questions?
I have no other questions. Thank you so much for this presentation.
Okay. All right. So then I'd like to just take one brief moment to just highlight the one area that we completed, which was the we call our SWIFT assessment. That particular assessment allows us to continue doing settlement processing with through our IMD and through our Bloomberg activities. So that was completed in December, and it goes through a process of not only completing it, with having information security involved, having IMD involved, and then presenting that back to SWIFT, and then they go through a process of evaluation. And towards the end of December, we were acknowledged, and it was what they call published. And when that was published, then we are good to go for another year, and we can continue to use the international settlement processing through SWIFT as part of the ASRS ability to manage financial transactions. So good job that we continue to move forward. Good job that we continue to have the right kinds of tools in place to make sure, and it keeps it a smooth process for us to do the auditing. So that's my report on the SWIFT.
That's great.
All right.
No questions from me, but thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and we'll get back to work.
All right. Thank you. Good luck with the hiring process. I hope that goes really well. All right. That moves us to the next agenda item, the summary of current events. I think everyone knows legislative session has started. That is definitely keeping everyone busy. Are there any other current events that anyone wants to share with the committee?
No additional
Okay.
comments from staff. No, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Great. Any requests for future agenda items at our next meeting? Hearing none, I think we'll keep the cadence. I will say the staff you've done an incredible job. I feel like we get great annual updates. They're built into our quarterly agendas on the critical things. We have, the things that we're covering every meeting are the important things that we need to keep our eyes on. And so just really appreciate all the intentionality that's been put into developing not just the agendas meeting to meeting, but thinking through the entire annual cadence of these meetings. So thank you. I hear a question.
This is Andrew Birch from the Internal Audit. I'm questioning that we have on the next OLC meeting, have some kind of an update on our trustees and where we're at in the process, because right now we only have two. It's been a while since we had three. So I myself personally would just like to know a little bit more about the process. So.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that probably is even a question for the entire board of trustees. We know that there are many of us, including myself, that are expired, meaning that we're continuing to serve in these roles, but the appointed term that we've been appointed for is expired. And so we're waiting on the governor's office to essentially make the decision of what to do from there. So yeah, I'm sure that could be a discussion, and I probably defer to the director's recommendations of whether that should be at a board level or simply for this committee. Obviously, our preference, if we had enough trustees on the board, would be to have more folks on the committee. Makes just making motions and things like that a little bit more seamless. But I do have to say, I do really appreciate my fellow trustee, and it's been great. We feel like we've made the best of having a two-person committee, but obviously that's not our preference for the ongoing future. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks, Madam
Paul,
Chair.
anything to add?
No, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Oh, good questions. All right, with that, the next regular meeting of this committee will be scheduled for Wednesday, April 30th at 9:30 a.m. And with that, I'll adjourn the Operations Audit and Legislative Committee. It was record time, everyone. So if you want to add a few things back on, we can. Have a wonderful morning and drive safe. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending. The time is 10:21.